Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. Morning, Jordan.
Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
Good morning.
We're running a shade early today,
A little bit earlier.
just a little bit.
Why were you running early? How do you
Well,
run
we said
early
7, and then it's like 20 to 7 or quarter to 7.
Yeah,
so-
but you've got your rhythm in the morning.
yeah.
Did you
I
just
didn't do
get up?
cardio today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I wanted full energy for this. Yeah. So I put a post up last night when I was in the sauna, and I took as the plane analogy. And I think we should talk about it because we get lots of questions about, like I had a guy contact me last night from Melbourne. He's 21 years old and a cocaine addict, and he's in real estate. And I talked to him for about maybe 20 minutes or so. And interesting. It's
What
very
did he say? Just on that, how do you become a cocaine addict at 21? How do you even afford cocaine at 21?
Every day he's taking it
Yeah, that's
and
unbelievable.
working. Yeah.
Wow.
So we get lots of calls like this, all different things. And it's easy to do because if you're unhappy, the impulse of whether a bad habit, addiction, whatever you want to call it, the impulse of that is more inviting. So that's why you do it, really. When you're really happy and steady and got purpose, it's not as easy to do. You still might do it every now and then, but it's not as easy to do. So, but we'll talk about the aeroplane analogy. And I was in the sauna and I'm like, my days now are exactly like an aeroplane flight. So in the morning, when a pilot, they check their aircraft. Have you been on a helicopter before?
No.
Oh, you never been on one?
No, so you have to explain. And I didn't see the video either.
So when you go to Kuala, women always want to go on helicopter rides and look around. I'd be happy just sitting there doing other things. But but Tara's like, let's get a helicopter ride out to Heart Island or something. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. But the guy lands and then he turns the helicopter off and then he shows you around, puts you in, before he puts you in, does a whole check of the thing. So he goes, checks the tail blade, checks the propeller, check everything, all the instruments, everything else, does a checklist, then puts you in, talks you through what's what, and then he talks to the radio people, then he does the thing in sequence and off it goes. That's a helicopter thing, right? But a plane is the same. So they do the checks, crew, safety, this, that. Even before they take off, think about it. They say, is cabin all set for takeoff?
Takeoff, yeah.
Yep, and then they check all the locks and things and check all that and talk you through what's going to happen. So there's a routine every time. Like the pilot might have been flying for 40 years. Do you think he needs to check the left screw on the wing every single time?
No, just part of the process.
Yeah, that's right. For why though?
Because it gets them set and ready.
Gets them set and ready, but what else? Yeah, gets them set and ready.
Well, there's probably a part of them that want to know as well that everything's prepped, ready, planes filled, everything is in check.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So safety,
Yeah.
set and ready, all of this. So everything's ready to go. So that's like our day. So and I've never really thought about it like that because it's like, then you take off and think about how much thrust it takes to take off. We talked about this the other day. And everyone's back on their seats and up we go and then it's into the air and then they put it on autopilot. So they make sure that the takeoff is really good and they put it on autopilot and then what happens when you're landing? What does the captain do very first?
Prepares the cabin for landing.
Yeah, that's right. And you can feel the plane going down and then it's almost the other way around, like wheels come down, everything gets put away, all in the perfect time, doesn't it? Because I always think about it like they're feeding people, they're getting all this stuff, they're coming to get the rubbish, they're checking all the things. But in their mind, they're like, at this time we do this, at this time we do that. And it makes for a safe flight, the best it can be. And then you've got like the radio control tower directing everyone in, all this timing happening. But that's our day. That's exactly our day. Like, think about your best days ever. Are they chaotic or have they got a rhythm to them?
No, they've got a rhythm to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have adrenaline-filled days with chaos, but how do you feel when you get to the end of it?
adrenaline-filled days with chaos when you get the end to it.
Yeah,
end to
like
it?
like sometimes you have like super busy days that things come along and you got to deal with them. You might have heaps of adrenaline, but you usually have a crash at the end, don't you? Like you usually
I
have
think
like, oh.
I normally am like, I have no idea what's going on. There's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I need to bring this all back together.
That's right. So it's taken me quite a while, but if I think about my days, like I've done it this morning already before I've come here, but I've popped out cardio, but that was by choice because I want full energy to be here. But it's the same. It's the routine. Like if I wake up at 5, everything flows perfectly. Let's say it wasn't podcast day. I finish by about 7 to 7:15, and I've done everything in my morning routine. It takes me about 2 hours to do it perfectly. So if I have space, Tara's asleep, and then from then you start to step into the day. And you can feel the energy change a little bit because people start ringing, things start happening, kids start crying, Jordan starts whinging, Jackson's still in bed, things like that. Do you know?
Yeah.
And then but the nighttime routine's got to be the same. So imagine if you start your day like that and then you end your day with a great landing too. Because what some people do is they get the kids to bed and they sit on the lounge for 2 hours winding down, but then they go to bed at 10:30. They go to bed 11 o'clock. And
What's your nighttime routine?
Mine.
I know what your morning one is.
Yeah.
Your morning one is ice bath. What do you call this machine?
A red light bed.
Yeah, ice bath. Do you go sauna?
Breathing.
Oh, sorry, yeah, ice bath, breathing.
No, breathing.
Yeah, breathing.
But go back to that.
Yeah.
So go back a little bit. I go to bed at 8:30. So because it's got to start the day before. It's like checking your plane.
Yeah.
So 8:30 in bed. Last
Yep.
night I went to bed at 7:55.
Yep.
Yeah. So
you're waking
the
up,
earlier the better. And then
full
you wake
tank.
up. Yeah, full
Yep.
tank.
No alarm.
Unless that happens, you've jumped in your aeroplane and you haven't checked anything.
Yeah. It's like you've parked it,
Yep.
quickly had a quick sleep, and then jump
Yep.
back in and full again.
That's it. Quick,
Yeah.
quick, get in. Like, yeah. So then I wake up and then let your energy wake you up. Stay there for a few minutes, get your thought process going, and then I do the breathing. I take Tommy's little potions, and then the ice bath, red light bed, cardio, celery juice, pods, ready for the day.
Yeah, right.
Every day. And that's the best morning in the world. And I actually can't wait to do it. What's yours?
What's my normal morning?
Yeah, what's your routine?
Yeah, so I get up at between 4:30 and 5. Most of the time I try to get up without an alarm. But sometimes I just leave it there for safety.
For safety. Yeah.
Well, I don't like to, if I sleep past a certain time, it makes me anxious and
think
things.
about what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what do you put first? This is good.
Yeah,
This
so
is great.
I'll go to bed
So-
normal time,
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock.
But what do you put first? Energy or waking up? Like, I'm asking you, what do you prioritize? Because I prioritize energy. So if I wake
Yeah.
up at 5:45, I see it as that's what I needed to do. What do you do?
I prioritize getting up because my day's already so full with things. If for any reason I'm 2 hours behind, I'm on the back foot and my energy is anxious and I'm like worried
But what if
because-
your optimum day, sorry to jump in, I
Yeah.
want to go along this because this is great.
Yeah.
What if your optimum day needed half an hour more sleep?
It probably does.
But what if it did?
Yeah. But
So
then,
what would you value more?
well, I should value more sleep, but I don't because then I miss boxing and then that makes me feel like a fat wreck and then that just continues going. Like it just continues
No,
from
just
there.
that one day.
Oh, that one
No,
day?
You're not going to drag it on for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just that one day. What if that one day, the difference between an optimum start or an optimum day was half an hour more sleep? Because you can't perform at optimum unless your sleep is full. You can't. It's not the same.
See, this is the bizarre thing that I think about with sleep. So I haven't had a drink for a month or anything like that. My sleeping's been perfect. I've been in bed at the same time. Some days I'll wake up at 4:30. Like this morning, you text me at 4:30. I text you back at 4:32. I was up. Perfect. No problem. No alarm. Up. But then the next day, nothing changes in my life. It's the exact same. But for some reason, I wake up feeling much more tired. But then I'm like, why is that? Nothing's changed.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but
Is this what we're going to talk about? So
Yes.
that's exactly what we're talking about.
but it's still
whole
the
thing.
same. But it's still the same
No,
amount of
it's not.
sleep.
It's not. No, yeah, but it's not. Because your body is
So-
a constantly moving machine.
Yeah, so I force myself to get up.
Yes. But keep going, because we're going to talk about that whole thing. What you just said then is exactly the secret, not the secret, the thing what I'm talking about today. So you could wake up at 4:30 one day feeling like you're just about to jump and touch the moon, and the other day you feel like you're just about to fall in a hole and drag yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Is it better to allow yourself to wake up half an hour later, 45 minutes later?
For sure.
Or set the alarm clock? So what's the thing you got to do there?
What do you mean? What do I need to do?
Get rid of the alarm clock.
Yeah. So my alarm clock is set for 5 a.m. every morning.
But this is what I'm saying.
I know.
You listening?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, we're talking about the perfect flight for the day.
So I'll tell you why it is, because I normally get up between 4:30 and 5. Normally that's when I wake up naturally. But then 5 o'clock's there, because if it's any later than that, my morning routine is out.
No.
And
this is what I'm saying to you. No.
Mm-hmm.
No, because your morning routine starts with optimum sleep.
Yeah.
That's where your morning routine, this is the bit that you're not clicking into. Because unless you've had enough sleep, you can't be at optimum.
Yeah.
You'll function, you'll be fine, you'll get into it, you'll be all right. But you do that and the next day and then the next day, and you're always just behind optimum.
Yeah.
We're talking about how do you have the most optimum day.
So if I prioritize sleeping that little bit extra and waking up, then that also puts my morning routine out. So something is giving in one way or another.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No. No, it doesn't. You've got to have today I took cardio out, but I chose to. But I feel like full 110% energy.
Yeah. So
if I got up earlier and quickly put cardio in, I know that I wouldn't feel as centered. Because I was like, by the time Jordan gets here, this happens, I popped it out. But I've had enough sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. That's probably something I've got to work on.
Yeah, that's right. So your jiu-jitsu or your boxing, if I was in your position, I'd be moving it down a little bit, half an hour. So it gives you another half an hour buffer, because you're not going to sleep past 5:30 most of the time. Or
never.
But I'd move that session down permanently. I would. And then that way you've got plenty of time if you need to sleep a little bit extra. This is what depends on what you value more.
Yeah. Because I need to, when I wake up, I will just stand up, get the blood flowing a little bit, and the first thing I do is I will reply to all my emails, and then I'll look at all my calls. I've got a journal, and I'll look at all my calls from yesterday, and I'll write out a list of things. Normally they've been taken care of, but just so I haven't missed anything. Then all my text messages, and then I'll write what I'm talking to my owners about at 9 a.m. And then that pretty much gets rid of any of that anxiousness, because I'm like, no, okay, I know what needs to be done now. I've delegated things. I know what I'm talking to these people about. I've missed no texts or calls from yesterday or tasks that have popped in that I haven't actioned. And then that allows me to step into my day. So if I miss that, I panic a little bit, because you know what the influx of calls and things is like. And I think if I missed an appointment today or something, and then that starts to cloud my brain, and I don't feel like I've got a bit of a rhythm to my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just been my habit.
And that's probably reflective of where you're up to in your career as well. I understand that. I've been the same.
Yeah.
But I would be working on that chunk for sure.
Working on that chunk?
Absolutely.
In what way?
So I'd be working on getting that chunk out of your life.
That hour and a half of yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's good for me to know, because now I'm like, okay, what's Jordan not doing the day before to make him feel like he's got to do all these messages and things? I understand the email thing, but whether you answer the email, I know it's in your mind. Like this morning I got on Instagram a little earlier than I would have, but this has been a long time in the making. And you can't just fix it tomorrow. So you've got to train yourself to operate differently. It might take another year or 2 or 3, but that you feel like it's clearing your space and you can step into the day with less anxiety. I'd be looking at the space before yesterday, at how you can manage that better, so you don't have to do most of that then. Because you're running so fast in the day, I can see it a mile off. You're running so fast in the day, getting to 7:30 at night or 8 o'clock at night, having dinner, collapsing on the lounge, and then you wake up and you're like, well, okay, quick run, let's go running again and get ahead of this energy that's chasing me like a big snowball down the mountain.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, I signed a contract last night at 8, was there for an hour, got home at 9, ate a cold dinner, and I was like, I just can't even look at my phone again at the moment.
Yeah.
So like that whole day of activity, by the time I got home, I just had I know I'd been taking care of things, but I had no interest in sitting there and going through it.
Yeah,
that's what most days are like.
Yeah.
So then that naturally becomes a next morning thing.
So what would be a great thing from this podcast onwards is you and I are going to work on this over time, and we're going to look at how to structure your time a little bit better. Because I think where you're at, you've got a good team around you. So
Yeah.
you should be, if you're on your own, I'd understand that, because you've got to like build this momentum, and then you sort of got to get people with you over time. But you've got a good team around you already. So we'll look at that over time, see if I can get you that extra hour or so back in your life.
You're right with the plane analogy too in the mornings, because that's when you're the most energized as well, which makes sense to do the like high thrust tasks.
Yeah. So you're a morning person, and you're like me, same.
Yeah.
Boom. And then so then you're into the day. Yeah. That's good. And I always say you can't plan for chaos. So our days are like whatever comes up, we've got some structure, you got your prospecting calls, all of that. Work is work. And at the end of the day, you've got to have this landing thing going on. Like, all right, I want to land, and you've got to train. I heard a really interesting thing about circadian rhythm. I didn't know anything about it till the other day, and I've heard it a million times. But it was a lady on YouTube, and she was saying, your circadian rhythm is so important.
I don't know what that is.
All right, so it's like how your body. So if you just think of people, it goes dark, your body clock starts to change, and it starts to say it's dark, you should be asleep.
Okay.
And when it is light, it turns on again. That's like a basic thing of what she said. She was a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
But it made sense to me, because I've heard it for years and years and years and years, but I've never really understood it. But what the guy interviewing her said is, so she said between 10 and 4 is your most important time to be in bed and asleep. 10 and 4. She said that's everything. This is when all your body repairs. This is when you reset. This is when your hormones reset. All of this sort of stuff. But what happens is your main clock in your body. So that's why I've got rid of my phone in my bedroom. Like, I don't have it now. I won't look at it in the night. What happens with blue light or things like that is it stimulates all of the other clocks in your body. So it's like a big chain reaction across your whole body. So you've got one telling you it's nighttime, go to bed, and then it actually makes everything else work as like a, what do you call it, a reflex or as a reaction. So it turns your whole body on. So we're stimulating ourselves. That's why Jackson with video games playing at night, he's had difficulty sleeping, Jackson has. And I'm like, okay, let's fix that. So we're going to start with your diet, start with this, and slowly. He's been having real difficulty, haven't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you found with yours?
It's like my brain turns back on again.
Yeah.
Like when I'm tired, I'm like, I'm gonna get off. I stopped playing games. I haven't played them for a while now, but like about 8:30, and then I'll just but then I'll have a shower and I'll do this and do that. And then by the time I'm in bed, I'm like staring at the ceiling. And it's just like I'll try and sleep, and then it's just off and on.
Yeah. Thanks. So the landing pattern needs to be just as important as the takeoff pattern. The day is the day. And so like the landing for myself, for instance,
what is yours?
Is if I go train, but I work while I'm training. That's it. Like I was on the phone to your mum 30 times in the gym session yesterday, and other people. So the gym session wasn't as great as it is. It's not like I go in there, close the door, and there's nothing going on in there, and I just focus there. Because I go in the afternoons now, because I've got to be home in the mornings for Tara, so I've had to adjust. But I'm working between each set. So I'll do a set, ring someone back. Do a set, talk to someone else. Do a set. And that's pretty much how I do my gym thing. And then I'll get home and I'll finish the work that I need to do. And then I'll turn the sauna on when I drive in the gate, and I'll leave it for an hour or so. And then I'll see Tara for a bit, sort of eat a little bit, have a sauna, have an ice bath, eat dinner, have a shower, go to bed. I think I remembered everything. And go to bed. But
Train, see Tara, ice bath, sauna, eat dinner, bed.
Sauna, ice bath. Yeah, so it's half an hour sauna.
Yeah.
And then ice bath. And the sauna actually accelerates your going to bed thing. It's like a big sleeping tablet, sort of. And the ice bath I do just for that shock protein thing. I don't stay in there long. I stay 6 minutes in the morning and I stay 1 minute or 1 minute and a half in the night after the sauna. I just like the feeling of it. But then I'll eat dinner, and by 7 o'clock, I'm not eating after 7 anymore. So 7 o'clock is my cutoff for eating. And from 7, I try not to touch my phone, and I start to wind mentally down for bed. So I sort of like putter a little bit. Like I'm not doing anything like emails and things like this and none of that sort of stuff, if I can help it. And then I plug my phone in the kitchen, then I'll go into bed, like last night at 8 o'clock. But if I can get into bed by 8:30, that's going to be a great night's sleep because I'm sort of like wound down. Even if I'm having a little bit of trouble getting to sleep at first, by the time 9 o'clock comes, you're asleep. Put my CPAP mask on. And it's funny, Tommy said, I'll fix the CPAP mask thing by July. Just leave it with me and I'll make sure you don't have to wear it. I want to wear it. I love it. It's the best. But that's the routine. And every day, it's like bookending excitement. And I'm so keen for the mornings and so keen for the nights. Like it's like you look forward to that routine. So routine sets you free. But if you're drinking, for instance, and I know I talk about drinking a lot, but if you're drinking or you're, even vaping is a dopamine hit, smoking cigarettes, dopamine hit. If you're having energy drinks, training in the afternoon, if you're having coffee, that sort of stuff, that's why I won't touch anything because I don't want to wreck my ability to wind myself up and wind myself down and maintain my energetic frequency level. Because you can't have a 10 out of 10 day unless you've slept enough. So you've got to put sleep like protected, like you've got to protect it so much and make that your number one priority because it starts there. What's your nighttime routine?
Well, I don't really have one because most of my evenings I'm working. Like it's either a dust shoot, which are late now, like they start at 8. So I'm pretty much trying to be asleep by 9:30, but I'm home 9 o'clock most nights from work, and then I'm eating and I'm in bed. But I'm like falling asleep as I'm driving home. Yeah.
You can't avoid the dust shots. You're at a different stage of your career as well, but that's okay. But you're not doing them every day. So what I would start to look at is how do you slowly implement a nighttime routine that you're pumped about?
What would a good nighttime routine look like for me?
You're across from the Crown Plaza, right?
Yeah.
So I would be putting sauna in there. I think sauna is the secret to sleep. Like I really do. And the benefits of the sauna is amazing. Like the stuff that it does for your body. So I would be like, aside from the dust shoot nights, I'd try and finish. John McGrath says, if you can't get all your work done between 7 and 7, there's something wrong. And I think that's a really good thing to aim for.
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock, this is why I'm going to look at your time management with people, because I think that's sucking the life out of you a little bit. You're fine. But for yourself. So if we can get you to 7 o'clock and then you're home or you finish the last few things by then, and then between 7 and 8, I would say jump over for a sauna across the road, jump in the pool or jump in something like that over there, and then come back. Just something simple. Could be half an hour where it triggers your mind that you're getting ready for bed. Because if you get home and put on Beverly Hills Housewives, you're talking to your people on the phone, you're doing some emails, you're looking at Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're all of this. Your brain doesn't know you've turned off yet, and your circadian rhythm, like the clock in your body, I don't know if it's called circadian rhythm, but it's the thing in your body that's registering that's staying stimulated. You may as well have a coffee or a Monster drink. It's the same thing.
It's so true. So we used to go, when I was like younger, we used to go camping just in random surfing spots. And when there's no service and you'd have no phone, you'd be like asleep by 7:30 p.m. because there's nothing to do and it's dark, and your body would just literally put itself to bed.
Yeah.
And then you'd be up pretty much at the crack of dawn. As the sun's coming up, you're up. It is all of this artificial stuff that actually affects it. You're 100% right.
Because we're chasing that thing. But when I was a kid, Mum and Dad used to say, they didn't really care, to be honest with you, but it's like most kids say, just be home when the street lights come on. So that was your thing. We didn't have phones or anything. Like you just, street lights are on, okay, go home and you have dinner and go to bed.
Yeah.
That's it. You didn't sit there watching TV till 8, 9 o'clock at night. But yeah, so that's that. But then inside of that, George, so that's a takeoff and landing, but inside of that, and this is where Jackson's on right now, is you can't just sort of go, okay, I'm going to have this amazing nighttime routine and not take care of anything else. So I'm doing a deep dive. So sleep is my number one focus right now. So I want 100% optimized sleep every day. That's what I'm focused on achieving. And that's going to take some time because tossing and turning and things, and you talk about your legs, your tension legs, and I get the same sort of thing, but less these days. But nutrition. So Tommy has just done a deep dive for me in matching my nutrition with my bloods. So you've got to have your body working right.
Yeah.
Because you can't go, I'm going to do this and then have 3 coffees in the day and then be thinking thoughts that are just worrying the hell out of you and be so unsettled and stressed and, hating your job and just hating your partner and all these things, right? Like all this stuff. You got to have this like timing to your life that feels good. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but you can weather the bits and pieces. When you're in that space, you can weather them much better. So when things don't go right, like yesterday, your mum and I had an unbelievable hassle day yesterday, right? Like it's just, I'm not even going to talk about it, but it was like, and I just said to her, look, just leave it. I just said to her, just leave it. And I texted her at 5 o'clock this morning or something. I said 4:30 or something. I texted you and then her, and I said, look, I think I've worked it out. I'll call you later today. And then she wrote me this thing saying, I've been dreaming about this and la la la, like still on that zone. Whereas I parked it. I was like, I'm just not going to talk about it. Just leave it. I actually said to her, I don't know what to do right now, so just leave it. And that's sort of like the way I manage it energetically, and then I just keep going. Doesn't mean it's not important to me. Doesn't mean I want to work it out. But my frequency, if I went that way, would be different than the solution. So the frequency of the problem is different than the frequency of the solution. So I want to be this vessel that's radiating this energy of the solution in all things. But that's like a constant. So Tommy's meal plan that I showed you yesterday, if you have a look at this, so this is the second meal plan that he's done for me. But I'm so serious about this. I reckon there's so much untapped potential in us humans. I want to find it. And I'm not talking about being David Goggins and running a 100-mile marathon. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about optimizing our position right now. Like, how do I make each day just continually get a bit better? How do I do that? Because I think a lot of people exist.
Yeah.
I think they exist from morning to night, go to bed, go to the next day complaining, dulling their feelings with alcohol and drugs and all this sort of things. Because when you're really happy, you don't want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to wreck it because you're buzzing at I can feel it, like you're buzzing so much. And then you watch the world start to move around you. And I'm like, well, the secret is in me. That's the secret for our increased business results. It's the secret for a better relationship. It's the secret for more money. It's the secret for everything. It's a secret for a better body. It's a secret for the whole lot. So I'm like, well, how far can I take myself? What does that mean? So time is one thing. But if you have a look at Tommy's meal plan that he's done, I can't read, sorry, 1 second. Here it is. So you have a look at that and just briefly talk people through with that. So this is a meal plan based on a much deeper dive into my blood situation. So what my bloods are telling him. He spent 4 days doing this for me, maybe even more.
So do you want me to read where he said that?
No, just sort of give people an idea of what that looks like.
Well, he's just listed, he's got bicarb, potassium, creatine, bilirubin, LD, and he's made a full description on every single one of these, whether they're low, whether they're
That's in my
high,
bloods.
Yeah, whether they're right. And then essentially he's made an explanation about what you need to do to make sure that these are sitting at the right levels moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you have a look at that, yeah, that's right. If you have a look at it, like this is about 4 pages long, isn't it? It's like so long what he's written. So all the things in my bloods.
It's like an essay.
Yeah. All the markers in my bloods, he's gone, this is how we need to improve this is what we need to do here, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's got a PhD in nutrition, right? So that's like a doctor of nutrition. And then he's gone, so that's what that all means. And then he says, upon rising at 5 to 5:30, you do this. And he's got like a paragraph of what I should be doing at 5 to 5:30. And then breath work for 5 minutes, then ice bath, and he talks about what that does for you. And then he says, within 30 minutes, you have to do this. And then the next 30 minutes of cardio, you have to do this straight after. 5 celery sticks. I was eating a whole bunch of celery. every day. He said 5 celery sticks only, okay? And then he's got breakfast, and he's itemised every ingredient in breakfast. No negotiation, every ingredient. And then it goes on all the way through the day.
Can you read the ingredients for breakfast?
Yeah, so breakfast, for instance, 4 scrambled eggs or poached. Now, he's a vegan. I eat eggs. He doesn't.
Why is he vegan?
He just chooses to be. He looks amazing.
Yeah, it's just his choice.
It's his choice. And he doesn't push vegan. He tailors it to what you want. So breakfast, 4 eggs with mushrooms, zucchini, 1 clove of gutter, diced, thumb-sized ginger, grated or diced, vegetables cooked together, 2 slices of paleo bread, half an avocado sliced, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, rocket, red onions, 5 olives, unsalted. Do not use salted ones. The salt is too high for my particular blood type. See, who would know that? Sprinkle a combination of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, black sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of activated mixed nuts. That's breakfast. And then between 9 and 10 a.m., I've got to drink 2 glasses of water, and he says sip slowly. Must be sipped slowly. Then at 10:30 a.m., I've got to have one of Tommy's protein shakes with ABC butter, 1/4 tablespoon of cinnamon, and filtered water. This goes on all day. And it goes on so far that it goes no carbs at all. If I want to have a dessert, I've got to have 3 tablespoons of goat's yogurt with a blueberry, half a pear with the skin on, half a kiwi fruit, 1 teaspoon of chai seeds, and a dash of cinnamon powder. So I've been doing this for 2 days.
So there's no carbs in that diet. Carbs are gone.
Well, there's carbs like sweet potato.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and paleo bread. That's about all. But then it goes on, and then he talks about my testosterone. And he says, if you're going to take testosterone, this is what you need to do. He said, I'll have you off the CPAP machine by July. But I'm going to tell him today, I don't want to be off it. I like it. I'm just happy to wear it anyway. And then he says, this is what testosterone is doing to your body, so we need to look at these, keep an eye on this, blah, blah, blah. He wants me to lower the dosages. And then suggested supplements. And then he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 supplements to take. And then he's made up an iron supplement special for, like, he spent days making it. And also an immune booster that it tastes like rubbish, or like herby things, but it's all right. And then he goes on to talks about what the effects of all those things are going to be. Now, 2 days in, I'm telling you, I've never bounced out of bed so hard. It's like I've had speed. I'm not joking. It's so good. I can get to sleep perfectly. And it's only 2 days in. Imagine how it's going to be in 6 months' time. So and this is something that you should take out of this. I've got to follow this perfectly. And he said, timing is everything with this diet. You must follow the times perfectly. So in my diary now, I've got meal, but I've got to come home and make it. So now I'm going to get my work to work around this. And that's how time management's got to be if you want to change your habits. Because what people do is they go a week in, I'm too busy, can't do it, don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, hang on. This is why I asked you, what do you value more, sleep or getting up? Because I value sleep so much more and health, and I want to go where I've never been before. So I have to be what I've never been before. And already in 2 days, I'm like, I don't know if it's placebo effect, but I'm telling you, it's like I bounced out of bed this morning at 3:45, like boom. Tommy says in this email, right? This email is so long, like it's so long. He said, my personal goals for you, number 1, jumping out of bed like a pilot being ejected from a jet. That's what he said. Energized all day. I got to yesterday afternoon, I was amazing all day yesterday. But look at what he said. Super fit and lean, best skin ever, best looking podcaster. I don't know about that. Amazing sleep, get off the CPAP machine by July. That's his goals for me. Look at what that thing's done. So all I'm saying to you is, do you have a morning routine that's going to launch you into the day? Do you have a nighttime routine that's going to launch you into sleep? Are you getting enough sleep where you're going to be optimized for the day? And then how are you spending the day? Every one of us could say, hang on, I can't do this. This is impractical. But I'm like, if you really want to do something, you do it. It's like that guy who rang me, 21 years old, addicted to cocaine. I said to him, why are you doing it? Like, why are you taking it? And I said, no judgment from me. I understand what it's like. I understand what it's like to have a beer and go, boom, hang on a minute, I'll have a couple of lines. Boom, hang on a minute, I'll just sit there and inject half an ounce of cocaine. Like, I understand what that's like. I struggled with that for half my life. You know, that trigger point. And then he goes, I don't really know. I come from a good family, blah, blah, blah. I said, because you're unhappy, mate. Because that's more attractive than where you are. And he's like, yeah, I lack self-confidence and this and that, blah, blah, whatever he was saying. I said, okay, that's fine. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Gym memberships are the best outline of people's natural behaviour. Join, don't go after 2 weeks. How many people do that? I just saw a stat the other day, 80% of gym memberships hardly ever get used.
Really?
Yes. I don't know where it was. Did I send it to you? TikTok. It was like 80% of gym memberships don't even get used. Might have been on Alex Hermosi's thing or something. How amazing. But they just keep it going anyway. But
Great for the gyms.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you, George, and people listening, and Jackson as well, Jackson's exactly in that spot right now. He's just engaged Tommy yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it yesterday or the day before?
No, yesterday.
Yesterday. And what are you going to do? Talk us through it.
He said he's got to talk to me about it. So, first, I emailed him. I did the whole questionnaire, and he goes, "I'll call me when you got 5 minutes this morning." So I said I'll call him after the podcast.
Yeah, good. Okay. So Jackson's had a very difficult time. Hope you don't mind me saying this, but he's been...
It's all right.
You're right? You're okay?
Yeah.
So, but after Logan, we all have, but Jackson's found it even harder to move on from the Logan thing. Like, and when I say move on, manage it internally. We're all managing it. I look at his photo out there every day, and I'm like, but Jackson is like, Dad, I'm not. I'm really finding it difficult. I think that's part of the reason why he's not sleeping and all of that sort of stuff. But we have to start on the inside out. There's not a tablet I could give him. There's not any advice I could give him. There's nothing I can give him unless we rebuild him inside out. So is his diet okay? Is he like feeling good? Because once you start to feel good, things start to adjust around you. And that's what I'm saying, George. With you as well, getting up every day and running for an hour and a half nowhere in your lounge room, trying to get in front of people's supposed expectation of you, that's craziness. That's not a launch into the day. That's like a monster chasing you down the street and hope you get to the end before, or Pac-Man chasing you down before he gobbles you up. That's what it's like. So what if your mornings were like just the best ever and you're so excited? I bet you wake up all full of anxiety straight away.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's fix that.
That's what helps me get rid of it.
That's right. It's like Pac-Man's chasing you. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
it's like I'm trying to get a run out before Pac-Man gets started for the
day. I can see that. But, you know,
it's just been such a habit. I've done it for so many years now that it's like just so normal for me.
That's exactly right. But the older that I get, the more I see there's people with the secrets that you're actually looking for. So that's the way I see it now. So Tommy, Mick the Podman, you know, Steve with money, myself with real estate.
And when you say in the middle of the day is basically when you to have a successful middle of the day, that's just knowing what your KPIs are and hitting them every day.
Yeah, that's right. But like yesterday, let's use yesterday's example. You had an appointment at 3 o'clock and you just put a thing in the WhatsApp group saying, I've got buyers that need to see something at 3 o'clock. I understand that's a reality, but it's your time. This is what I've learned with time management. It's your time. You're in control of it. You say yes and no to things. And you'll be amazed rather than get scared that people are going to say no. If you say, look, I actually can't get there then.
I say yes and work it out
You
after.
do, that's right. You go yes and throw the balls in the air and hope you catch a couple. That's what happens. Whereas I'll go, look, I'd love to see you. I'll move something if I can, if I need to. If not, I say, look, I'd love to see you at 10, but I can't. Like I'm probably in an appointment till 11:15, and then I can come straight over. People just want, as long as you make people feel special and heard, that's enough. So you get a choice to how you're going to spend every 15 hours or 17 hours a day. You're choosing how to do that. So exactly like this meal plan. To be honest, this meal plan is really a pain. But if I don't do this, I've got low iron and I've got, what's it called? A couple of other things in your bloods that needs attention. Tommy said nothing, no problems. So but if I don't do this, I'm never going to find optimum. I'm not. I could live like this, which is fine. I can't think that word starts with M. Oxygen or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I could try and do that. But he's an expert that's been there for 40 years specialising in food and people and gut health and all this sort of stuff, between Mick and Tommy combined, I think I've got a magical formula.
He's very vegetable based.
Very vegetable based.
Like in a lot of people, the other side.
So Mick is very fats based, pods and fats. But I combined the two. I told Tommy what I eat.
Yeah.
I eat the pods and I eat
Has he said why that is?
No.
You've
I don't
never
think so.
asked?
No.
You just gone...
No. It just... Well, I think Tommy is really researched. I think Mick is researched. You know, like Mick's been doing the same thing. Mick has... I think the pods are incredible. Like, I think the pods are a one-off item. So Tommy's meeting with Mick this week or whatever to talk about what the pods actually are. But it's good. Tommy's open. He wants to understand it. So all I'm saying is, what's your takeoff? Let's wrap this up. What's your takeoff? Every day. And if it's not right, adjust a little bit. Don't go trying to have the Matt Steinway morning, because you've got to understand, I'm 30 years progressed in my work. I used to be like you, George. Whereas I'm like, what's your takeoff and what can you adjust? So it might just be even just sitting there, having a cup of tea in the morning to gather your thoughts and have no phone. Could be as little as that. And then you get used to that and make your life work around it. And then your day, you have a good look at your time management and say, well, what am I doing here that isn't serving me? Like, really, what am I doing? And what do I want to do? There's no worse feeling than wanting to do something and can't do it. So if you want to go to the gym and you can't do it because you're too busy, that's going to create resentment. It's going to. But if you go, I'm going to train at 3 to 4 o'clock every afternoon because that's when I'm going to fit it in, and life's just got to work around it, and you start to do that, you know what will happen? Life will work around it. What do you say to me every afternoon when you ring me? What's the first thing that you say in the afternoon at around 3 or 4 o'clock?
Oh,
What's the first thing you ask me every time you ring? You probably don't even notice.
no, I don't.
Are you at the factory?
Oh, yeah.
You say it every time. Are you at the factory?
Yeah.
And as though you can't talk to me. I say, no, it's fine, just talk. I'm here, but
No,
talk.
you do, but I say it respectfully because
No, you do.
I know
You say,
it's important to you.
because everyone knows. What happens on a Thursday afternoon and everyone knows with you?
I go and see Cookie.
You go and see Cookie.
Yeah.
See? So it's what you place most value on, you will do. It's like the guy that rang me with a cocaine addiction at 21 years old. He places more value on putting that up his nose and being that than he does pursuing the day of happiness. That's in the future. The impulse of that is what he places more value on. You will only ever do what your highest values are. Mine now, morning, day, night. Summer, Tara, all of that. Working all really, really well. That's my highest value. That's all I do. People say, why don't you go for dinner and stuff? I do every now and then. Went with Kate and Chris the other day down in Sydney, but it was an early dinner. But rarely, because I value that takeoff down. I don't want to get home at 10 o'clock in the night because it throws the down out so much. Doesn't mean I'll never will, but I rarely do it. And that's when you get more control of your time, more control of your choices, more control of your structure, and ultimately more control of your life.